I'm very happy to be here, still associated with these competitions. I started out in STC with the competitions because as a young tech writer, my boss entered something of mine and I won. Not a major prize, but I did get an award, and it just really energized me. I remembered, thinking through this. I used to, if I needed a boost, I'd go into the drawers of my desk and pull out some judges' comments and read them as if I were reading them for the first time, and that really gave me a boost. So that's part of the reason that we're doing this, is to help the people who do this kind of work every day, to promote quality and basically promote our whole profession. So, for new judges, this will also help you to understand the quality, and you get to talk with other judges about what we do all day. And so for everybody, a boost and a plus for our profession. So what we're going to talk about tonight is what we're judging. We're going to go over the calendar and the process and talk about the entry categories. Now, all of our chapters, as Malu said, we've combined. So our processes, we found, were pretty consistent. So this is the first time that this many chapters have gotten together, and hopefully I can communicate here how what you can expect and what will be expected of you, and you won't have too many questions, and you'll be able to get on with your judging and enjoy the process. Okay, so why are we judging? Again, I think it is for the people who do this kind of work every day. It's to recognize them and to recognize quality and promote quality. Pointing things out, helping with recommendations and suggestions so that they can think of things and be proud of what they do and continue in our technical communication profession. What are we judging? First of all, our perspective, we, the judges, are the professionals, and we're looking at these with a professional eye, an experienced eye. And we're also user advocates, so that one of the main questions that we answer is, does this piece, does this entry achieve its purpose for its audience? So in that way, we're user advocates. We may or may not be technical experts. I remember seeing a judge's comments one time where they said, "I'm no expert, but," I'm like, no, you shouldn't say that. For now, you are the expert. So we're judging the entries that companies and individuals have sent in for the purpose of having somebody look at them with a professional eye and provide feedback. That's basically what we're doing. How well does the piece, as I say, achieve its goal, its stated goal? This reviewer syndrome. Yes, we usually mention this in talking to judges. You don't want to get into a place where you feel like you have to criticize something in order to seem like a real reviewer. So overall, we need positive feedback and some recommendations, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. Okay, the calendar. Now, this will guide you. You see we have a range of dates here for various milestones. This is going through the forms that will be provided as tools to help you with your assessments. Phoebe will talk about those in detail later, but you'll be able to, you have about a week or so for each step in this process. First impressions, that's a form, and then assessment 1, 2, and 3. Those equal the entries. Each team, which has a team leader and team judges, 3 to 4 per team, each team will get about 4 entries, and so each judge has the same entries, so that the team can get together. First of all, you do your assessments individually so that you know what you think of each entry before you get together. Come on. There you go. Okay, consensus. There will be face-to-face in, I think that's all the chapters will have one place where, if possible, the judges can get together on March 7th, which will be a Saturday. Now, the team lead will coordinate all this as you go. The team will decide if you'll be able to meet and how to turn in the entries and so forth. What you do by that point, each team, if they have a best of show candidate, an entry that they decide to put into competition for best of show, they will identify those by that March 7th consensus day. So that the bottom line will be to have everything finished by March 15th. Yes, the best of show, let me see. There'll be a separate judging for those. Like I said, each team can put forth a candidate that they want considered for best of show, and then those will be judged. Okay. So all the judging wrapped up by March 15th. Okay, now the process. Let me see if I can make this work. Again, the structure we're putting together from all the chapters, and I think it seems like it's working fine. Entries are evaluated by teams of 3, sometimes 4, and they'll have a leader, and they each team will pretty much decide for themselves the details of their judging. You know, whether they do it by calls. I assume most people will do it by calls. I'm not sure anybody is actually in proximity enough to meet all together, but that's for your team to decide. So you have assessment forms, which Phoebe will discuss, and you complete those after considering and reviewing, looking at your entries. You complete the forms. She'll go over that. And the team leader collects them and prepares a summary. Now, the individual teams have to reach consensus on award level. So each entry, you will decide what award, if any, it'll get. and this is where the most of the discussion will come in. It's important to have your own individual assessment done before you meet, because there has to be a starting point for each person, for each judge. Okay, and then on consensus day, the teams will meet either in person or virtually. And again, that will be decided within your team. And this is when you can put forth a best of show recommendation if you want. Most teams, I find, do have something that they consider really good and that they want to put forward. And so you have to be prepared to justify it. It's almost like a competition. And then on consensus day, all the judges will be invited to this meeting and to select the best of show entry. So that final consensus day, that is for selecting the best of show. Okay, the categories. Now we have 4 categories of this is all on the forms that the submitter filled out. They selected their category. Now you see under each category, the first one is informational materials. There's all kinds of types of communication that can be under there. And I do want to say at one time, each of those things was a separate category. So we had, I don't know, 40 categories or something. And luckily, they consolidated them into 4. Now these, they can be print material, in which case you will receive hard copy. They can be electronic media, or you can just get a link that you'll use to go to your entry. Okay, so the second category is instructional material, basically training. Again, there's all kinds of different kinds of training that can be in that category. Thirdly, we have promotional. Those are almost, you know, advertising something special about the company or agency that is entering. One thing that I do want to say, you'll get a judge's packet, which is quite a bit of material, and it has a discussion of, or a description of each of these kinds of things. So if you're interested, you can refer to that. I'm not sure the judging packet needs to be read cover to cover, but it does have some very good descriptions of things like this in the judging packet. So it's for reference. And whoops, the 4th category is user support. And these are the, you know, traditional help and user manuals that we're used to. All kinds of guides and websites that provide help with using a product. Okay, so those are the 4 categories. Now, the submitter chose the category. These are more or less verified when they are received, but there are sometimes, I think it's actually pretty rare, when a judge feels like the entry is not in the right category. And if you get that feeling, talk to your lead judge. They may need to escalate that and change a category. Like I say, it's possible, but it is kind of rare. But sometimes you think this isn't in the right category. So let your lead judge know if that happens. Okay, so this is what they're competing for, these very, very nice badges. And we have the different levels of award, which Phoebe will tell you about. That's the goal of your meeting with your fellow judges in your team, is to arrive at an award recommendation for each entry. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it over to Phoebe, who will talk about the forms, and then it'll briefly come back to me to wrap up now. Oops. Okay,